Have you ever found yourself getting irrationally angry over something tiny, like a slow internet connection or someone loading the dishwasher the wrong way? Or maybe you've spent an hour scrolling on your phone, doing nothing in particular, yet feeling completely unable to just go to bed. Perhaps a favorite song comes on the radio and instead of enjoyment, you feel a spike of irritation. These aren't just random bad days. They are subtle, almost silent alarms your mind and body are sending you. They are the quiet whispers that signal you're running on empty, that you desperately need a break. In this video, we're going to learn how to hear these whispers before they turn into screams. Because recognizing the need for self-care isn't a luxury, it's a fundamental part of a healthy, functioning life, and the first step is learning the language of your own exhaustion. Number 1, your annoyance fuse is incredibly short. You used to be able to handle minor setbacks with a shrug. A traffic jam was just a chance to listen to another song. A spilled coffee was just a clumsy moment. But lately? Everything feels like a personal attack. The self-checkout machine beeping at you feels aggressive. A friend being 5 minutes late feels like a deep betrayal. That person walking slowly in front of you on the sidewalk feels like they are doing it on purpose, just to provoke you. The psychology behind this is fascinating. It's all about cognitive load and emotional regulation. Think of your brain's capacity for patience as a daily budget. Every task, decision, and worry is a withdrawal. When you're well rested, you start with a healthy balance. But when you're overworked and stressed, you're starting your day with your account already in the red. By the time a minor annoyance happens, a tiny $5 withdrawal, it overdraws your entire account. The result is an emotional bankruptcy filing in the form of rage. Your brain has no energy left for emotional regulation, so it defaults to its most primitive response, fight or flight. Since you can't physically fight the slow Wi-Fi, you fight with frustration. It's not about the thing itself, it's about your brain screaming that it has zero resources left to cope with even the smallest deviation from the plan. Imagine you've had a brutal week of deadlines. You get home, and your partner asks a simple question: what do you want for dinner? Instead of a simple answer, you feel a wave of irrational anger rise in your chest. The question feels like an impossible burden. That's your mind telling you it cannot handle making one more single decision. Number 2, the things you love feel like chores. Remember that hobby you were obsessed with? Maybe it was painting, playing guitar, gardening, or video games. It was your escape, the thing you did to recharge. But now, when you have a free evening, the thought of picking up that paintbrush or guitar feels heavy. It feels like another item on your to-do list, something to be scheduled and completed rather than enjoyed. The joy has been replaced with a sense of obligation. This subtle shift is a classic sign of burnout, often linked to anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure in normally pleasurable activities. When your nervous system is in a constant state of high alert from stress, your brain starts to aggressively conserve energy. One of the first things it cuts power to are the circuits for joy and engagement. The brain's logic is brutal: we don't have the fuel for fun right now. All energy must be redirected to survival functions, like worrying about work tomorrow or just getting through the day. Think about your brain's reward system. Normally, doing something you love releases dopamine, making you feel good and wanting to do it again. But chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that can actually blunt your dopamine receptors. It's like the volume on your favorite music has been turned down so low you can barely hear the melody. The notes are still playing, but the emotional resonance is gone. That's why you find yourself scrolling through Netflix for 30 minutes, feeling nothing, and then just rewatching something you've already seen. It requires zero mental or emotional investment. That's not relaxation, that's your joy circuit on low power mode. Number 3, you suffer from analysis paralysis over simple choices. What to wear today? What to eat for lunch? Which email to answer first? These used to be autopilot decisions made in seconds. Now, they feel monumental. You stand in front of your closet for 10 minutes, completely overwhelmed by the options, even though you've worn these clothes 100 times. You stare at a lunch menu like it's a complex legal document, unable to commit to a sandwich. This is a direct result of decision fatigue. Your decision-making ability is like a muscle. Each choice, big or small, is a rep. When you're well rested, that muscle is strong and can handle a full workout. But when you're chronically stressed, that muscle is already fatigued from the moment you wake up. High-stakes choices at work or in your personal life are like heavy deadlifts that exhaust it rapidly. So when it comes to a low-stakes choice, like choosing a brand of toothpaste, your brain is already overdrawn. It freezes. The mental energy required to weigh pros and cons, even for something trivial, simply isn't there. It's like trying to run a marathon and then being asked to sprint the last 100 feet. You just can't. Your mind refuses. You might even find yourself unable to answer a simple text from a friend, staring at the screen for minutes, trying to formulate a reply to "How are you?" This paralysis over small things is a clear signal that your executive functions are overloaded and need a serious break to recharge. Number 4, you engage in revenge bedtime procrastination. This one is incredibly common in our always-on culture. You know you should go to sleep. You're exhausted. You have to be up early. But instead, you stay up until 1 or 2 in the morning, scrolling through social media, watching random YouTube videos, or playing a game on your phone. It feels like you're choosing to relax, but you're not. This is revenge bedtime procrastination. The revenge is against a day where you had no time for yourself. Because your daylight hours were completely consumed by work, chores, and obligations, your brain tries to reclaim a sense of freedom during the only hours left, the ones that should be for sleeping. This isn't just about procrastination, it's a desperate grasp for autonomy. During the day, you feel like a character in someone else's story, following a script. The late-night scroll is your attempt to become the director of your own life again, even if it's just for a couple of hours in a state of scrolling numbness. It's a subconscious act of rebellion, your mind saying, "I refuse to let my entire life be just work and sleep." The cruel irony, of course, is that by sacrificing sleep, you make the next day even harder. You start with a lower battery, increasing your stress and fatigue, which in turn makes you more likely to seek that revenge again the next night. It's a vicious cycle, and it's one of the most telling signs that you lack genuine, restorative free time in your waking life. Number 5, your body is keeping score. You've been getting more headaches than usual. Your stomach is constantly upset, you feel bloated, or your digestion is off. You're catching every cold that goes around the office. You might dismiss these as separate, unrelated issues, but they are often your body's way of physically manifesting mental and emotional stress. The mind-body connection is not a New Age myth, it's a biological reality. When you're under chronic stress, your body is flooded with hormones like cortisol. In short bursts, cortisol is helpful for survival. But when it's constantly elevated, it wreaks havoc. It suppresses your immune system, making you more susceptible to illness. It causes inflammation, leading to aches and pains. It disrupts your digestive system and triggers tension headaches. Think about it, that strange patch of eczema that suddenly appeared, the constant brain fog that makes it hard to find your words, or the fact that your jaw is always clenched. These aren't random malfunctions. They are distress signals sent from your nervous system. Your body is essentially absorbing the stress your mind is trying to ignore, and it's showing up in physical, undeniable ways. Your immune system, digestive tract, and even your skin become the battlegrounds for your unmanaged stress. That persistent knot in your shoulder is not just bad posture, it's your body keeping a literal, physical score of your stress levels and telling you it's time to pay attention. Number 6, you find yourself constantly daydreaming of escape. You're in a meeting, but in your head, you're on a beach in a foreign country. You're driving to the grocery store, but you're mentally planning a new life in a small, quiet town where no one knows your name. This isn't just idle daydreaming, it's a powerful form of mental escapism. When your current reality feels overwhelming and unsustainable, your brain creates an alternate one as a coping mechanism. It's a psychological pressure release valve. A healthy daydream might be planning your next vacation for a few minutes to feel excited. Chronic escapism is different. It's when you're sitting in a meeting and you don't just think about a beach, you can feel the sun on your skin, hear the waves, and you're mentally checking flight prices. You're building a detailed, alternate reality because your present one feels intolerable. This mental disappearing act becomes your default state. While a little bit of daydreaming is normal, a constant and intense urge to escape is a sign that your current situation is causing you significant distress. If you find you're spending more and more of your waking hours mentally checking out and living in these fantasy scenarios, it's a huge indicator that you need to take a break and reassess what in your real life is causing you to want to flee so desperately. Your psyche is begging for a real-world change, not just a fantasy vacation. Number 7. The cynicism creep. You used to be optimistic, or at least neutral. Now, you find yourself feeling cynical and detached about everything. Your job, your friends' good news, even your own goals. A colleague gets a promotion, and your first thought isn't good for them, but a cynical "I wonder who they knew." You feel emotionally disconnected from your work, just going through the motions to get a paycheck. This emotional distancing is a core component of burnout. It's another defense mechanism. When you're emotionally exhausted, it becomes too painful to care deeply. So, your brain builds a wall of cynicism and detachment to protect you from further disappointment or emotional investment. This cynicism starts to poison your relationships. You might find yourself rolling your eyes at a friend's enthusiastic story or feeling a sense of dread before a social gathering that used to be fun. Your brain, in its depleted state, perceives emotional connection as a threat, another potential drain on your non-existent resources. It's a slow, insidious change. You don't wake up one day as a cynic. It creeps in. You start to feel less engaged, more irritable, and more pessimistic. You might mistake it for just being realistic, but it's often a sign that the passion and energy you once had have been completely depleted. This emotional callousing isn't who you are, it's a shield your mind has built to survive. It's a lonely, isolating sign that you need to recharge before you forget what genuine connection feels like. So, from a short annoyance fuse to the cynicism creep, these subtle signs aren't character flaws. They are not weaknesses. They are vital signals from a mind and body that are trying their best to cope. These 7 signals are a form of communication, a sophisticated, built-in alarm system. Your system isn't betraying you, it's talking to you. The key isn't to silence the alarm, but to listen to what it's telling you. Recognizing them is the first, most crucial step toward giving yourself the care you not only need, but deserve. Remember, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not a substitute for professional advice. Taking a break isn't quitting, it's refueling. Now, I want to hear from you. What's the one subtle sign you notice in yourself first when you're starting to feel overwhelmed and in need of a break? For many, it's the revenge bedtime procrastination. For others, it's snapping at a loved one. Sharing your experience in the comments could be the exact sign someone else needs to see today to realize they're not alone. Let's start a real conversation.